What's up, everybody, man? We back again with episode 5 of Talking That
Big
Yeah
five.
Pod. Big 5, man. I just want to say,
Big
man,
five.
we know it's been a minute since we jumped on here and talked that yeah with y'all. I know we got some loyal fans out there. I hope y'all haven't dipped out on us because we finna get back up and running, man. Me and Larry, we've been busy making some moves for the podcast behind the scenes, but we back and we rolling, man. And we got a special episode for y'all coming up tonight. We're bringing on two guys that really help us get all this started, man. Two special guys that have their own show. I'm going to let them introduce their own show when I bring them on. But coming to us and joining us tonight are my guys Pat and my guys Dave. Man, what's up, fellas?
What's going
What's
on,
up?
guys?
So what's up with y'all, man?
What's
up?
Oh,
What's up?
just coming to talk that, yeah. That's it.
Already.
Yes, sir.
Most definitely, man. So these are the guys, the special guys, from Be in the Know, and they have their own show called.
It's called Who Effing Knows. Uh, Dave, sorry, I didn't mean to cut you off there. It looked like
No,
he
you
was he
good.
was ready to talk, but no, it's called Who Effing Knows. Started kind of as a joke. Like we wanted to have a flagship podcast for the know.com when we were kind of starting everything up and didn't really know what we wanted to talk about. We knew we were sports guys, wanted to talk about sports, but it's really all over the place. I like to joke that it's about everything and nothing all at the same time. I mean, we'll talk about aliens and our high school crushes, and then randomly, break down the Tulane game or like the Saints or whatever. So, uh, yeah, it's a lot of fun. I'll be
When
honest.
when you say talking about high school crushes, did you marry your high school crush?
I didn't, and I probably shouldn't even go down that rabbit hole because my wife's in the other room. Uh,
We're gonna end that. Let's end that one.
yeah, I did not. Dave, I think no, you didn't either. But you've been
Nope.
with yeah. All right, never mind. We gonna keep it moving.
Yeah, we're gonna keep pushing through out.
I'm just guessing y'all didn't share that episode too much.
Nah. When I say high school crushes, sometimes I mean like we've talked about like celebrity crushes. We talked about. So I think we even talked about like hall passes once or something like that. Like we just dive in. We talk about anything.
I have a question. Did you guys have lockers in high school?
Yeah, I
You know,
did.
my last time using a locker probably was freshman year of high school.
Yeah. Nah, we had lockers in high school, but like nobody really used them. Like it was kind of weird.
Yeah.
Like random people used them. I used them on game days, like for football. Like I would put random stuff in there. But like that was really it. I hated dealing with the combination thing on it. Like I just didn't want to do it. Like it wasn't for
Yep.
me. I just put everything in my backpack and carried it like a duffel bag. I was
I,
that guy.
I definitely remember that walking around freshman year having to decipher whether or not I'm going to take the extra 5 minutes to go to my locker. Carrying around a duffel bag for football, carrying around a backpack full of books. Because back then we had books. These days, kids got computers and iPads and things like that, but didn't have that luxury, man. We had the books where you trying to see if your senior crush had your book 3 years ago.
The-
I
My
remember them days.
my senior year, my car was actually closer than where my locker was. I just leave everything in my car and just go to my car real quick between classes. But I had a locker. I don't know if I ever used it in my 4 years of high school.
Look at you. Nah, I was a nerd. My senior year, I was in what we called the tech crew, and we had our own like little portable building. And I used to keep all my stuff in there. Like I had my own computer in there. I had like I was the plug for the school burning CDs. Like I remember I'm old, so I was burning like the Black Album and stuff like that for like old squad albums for for all my other fellow students. But yeah, it
Nah,
was
that,
good
that's
time.
that's that's the archives for real.
I
A
know, I
bootleg
know.
copy of the Black Album was my first CD.
Hell yeah.
All
Hell
right,
yeah.
guys, I'm back. Grand
Yeah,
interest,
yeah.
man.
So, Larry, did you have a locker in high school?
So we did have lockers, but I never used it honestly.
Never used a locker in high school. What's your
No, I mean,
What's your biggest high school memory, as far as like nothing to do with football? If you had to pick a memory from high school that had nothing to do with football, what would you say your biggest memory is?
we made this one video, the whole school. It's like a dance video. Um, like it was like some people from like music and all the the extra active school, activities. They did this video and they included the whole school. And it turned out good. I'll have to find that video and show y'all. But it turned out good. They walked down every hallway dancing to like different songs. That's how it was.
I like that.
I feel like my favorite high school. It's crazy because my favorite high school memory to mine was actually it turned out to be one of the worst days of high school that I had. But it didn't start that way. So basically we had a powder puff football game, but we let anybody, be on the team. It just couldn't no football players play. So I went and got straight dogs, like guys that I know are straight athletes. They probably don't go to class, but they just got the freak athleticism. And I got the girls on the girls basketball team, and I had the dogs, and we had the headsets for the game, and we got the
Oh, y'all are serious.
yeah, we serious. Like it was a lot at stake, man, because we have a big crosstown rivalry in Warren Central, and they got to come to the event because it was after school. So I'm always trying to win. I'm the most competitive person I know. So I'm sitting there, coaching my tail off. I think one of the point guards for the girls basketball team, her name was Pleasure. She ended up catching like a pick six and ran it all the way back for us to win the game. So like my team don't Gatorade on me. I'm having the time of my life. I come to the track. I'm smiling and so I'm coming to the track. My girlfriend at the time was crying. I'm sitting there like, what's going on with her? Like, what's going on? So I walk up to her. She's like, get off me, get off me. I'm like, what are you talking about? She's like, you know what you did. You know what you did. And I immediately knew exactly what she was talking about. So she ended up just sending some text messages, and it turned into the worst day of high school ever because I lost my girlfriend that day, behind some text messages. But yeah, it started off great, man. It's definitely that I will remember forever.
When you asked about his best high school memory, did you know you were going to tell that story? Did you know you were about to dive into a breakup story?
But that one definitely came into my mind because I'm like, okay, what's my favorite high school memory? And then I'm like, oh, that's the worst high school memory too. But I mean, you live and you learn. You live and you learn. You make mistakes like that once. I went out a champ though that day. I took a mean L, but I went out a champ, and that's all that matters at the end of the day.
That's right.
Finish.
You're a winner.
Winner, yeah.
You're a winner. You got your coaching chops. It was all about the coaching too. Don't sell yourself short. It wasn't a team you put together. Like, yeah, you might be able. You accumulated talent, but we know you were calling the plays. Don't.
Right. I've always been football IQ, man. Just knowledge for the game.
That's what it is.
But speaking of football, we're gonna move on ahead, and we're gonna get into Tulane football update. The Wave is finished the regular season as regular season champs. They're 11-1, and also hosting the conference championship for the second consecutive year, right here in Yeoman versus the SMU Mustangs. So let's dive into it.
Let's get it. Who going first? Are we just jumping in?
Let me tell you,
I'll jump in because I'm one to speak. I am. I will always talk. I'm a talker. Man, I was there. I'll tell you what. I was there last weekend. I saw you was there too. I don't know about you, and maybe it's just me, like not having been on the sidelines a ton. Last weekend, man, that team felt like they had so much energy, like so much energy. They came out ready. I think they finished with 5 turnovers or something like that. Like the defense balled out. The offense put it together in the second half. It looked like the first half they were kind of like just gritting it out, grinding it out. They found something with Makai early, and then they kind of put it together to close out the game. So it was really a fun game to be at. But I'll say too, just as a fan or someone on the outside looking in, consistent success, seeing this program continue to build itself 2 years in a row, being in the AAC championship. You guys obviously contributing last year. And then this year, the way the team has kind of like the way I've described them the most is like just been gritty. They just find ways to win games. Like they haven't really blown people out like you would have wanted some of these other teams. But at this moment, like seeing how they've played with Fritz leading the way. Obviously, you've got some great vets on the team right now too. Like I have all the confidence in the world in them against SMU this weekend, and then even say they play Bama in the Peach Bowl or whoever they're being mocked to play. Like I mean, I'm excited. They look great, and I have no concerns going into this weekend. But I'm also just a guy, so I'll leave it at that.
I mean, most definitely. I was at the game. You see, the defense jumped out early. Bailey Despain getting the interception on like the second play of defense, which is really big because UTSA offense was like known for firing on all cylinders, especially with Frank Harris, such a veteran quarterback as far as the college football world goes. It was just good to see him get rattled. Keith Cooper had an early sack. They were swarming him, not letting him really sit in the pocket. But that's one of the things that he was more dangerous at is extending plays. But it just seemed like guys were flying around on all cylinders. They definitely played with that chip on their shoulder. And defense really sets the tone, and that's what a lot of people don't realize. Like old heads say all the time, offense sell tickets, defense win championships. And I feel like the defense really did a great job of coming out there, really setting the tone. The offense had the fumble early in the game, had to kind of find their rhythm, but the defense just played lights out each and every possession, really, was just out there swarming, going for the ball. I love the way that they just attacked the ball. Lance had the strip fumble. Cam had the strip fumble late in the game, and guys just really were fundamentally ball aware. And really just blew UTSA out the water. And I just feel like if they come with that same intensity this week, it's not going to be close.
Oh no, yeah, I just love the way how they just found the ball. Like I don't know how many takeaways they had this year, but they had a lot.
Yeah.
Like a lot of takeaways. I just like the way they found the ball, and like you were saying, they really don't blow out anybody, but they like at the end of the day, it's just like a dominant performance. Like they just dominate a team without blowing them out.
Right.
It's weird. It's kind of weird because like it's like a convincing win. Like they won this game for sure. It's like I've never had doubt like they're not gonna win. Like they're gonna win this game, but it's not like the score doesn't really like show like a blowout.
Dave? I don't know if you had thoughts, but I had a question. If I could jump in, if you want to give
Go ahead.
thoughts, I'll let you give them, and then I'll do it. You know me, I got to ask questions.
No, go ahead.
And I don't mean to put y'all on the spot, being former players, obviously being close to a lot of the players there and the coaches and all that. When a team forces 5 turnovers, do you expect more out of the scoreboard? I know what they still dropped, like 30, 39? Would they drop 36, something like that? But like as a defender, if you force 5 turnovers, what are you expecting from the other side of the ball? Because like, and I don't mean to say it in a negative way, but like that was my thought in the middle of the game. I'm like, damn, like they force a lot of turnovers, but like you're not really seeing the outcomes I think you would expect on the other end.
Coach Fritz, one of his keys to victory as a coach that he established during, I want to say he began coaching, was that, one of the things that really wins football games is being +1 or more in the turnover takeaway margin. Me and Larry have been in a game. Actually, he'll give you a whole record of like it's 99 to 1.
Yeah.
It's like the record is like 90 something wins to 1 loss. At some point, it was 0 losses, but it was like 1 loss if you have +4 turnover takeaway margin. And me and Larry ended up playing in that game that we lost, and we was like +4, +5, and the offense just couldn't.
That Houston game.
Yeah, the Houston game. We actually scored on defense twice, and we ended up losing that game. So I feel like that's one of the things. As a defense, you just got to have that mentality. Like you got to have that mentality that defines you as the defensive player. You could sit there and say, "Oh my God, the offense is scoring," or you can have the mentality that I'm going to continue to dominate. We're going to continue to shut teams out. Because I mean, regardless of the offense scoring, if you're holding the team to 3 points, 7 points a game, like the offense just we can score. So I feel like it goes back to one of those things is really just doing your job. And just knowing that those guys on the other side of the ball are going to do theirs. A lot of times it takes time for those guys to get up and get things going. And modern college football, you're playing against good offense, but you're also playing a good defense week in, week out. So to get those amount of turnovers and just win the game, I feel like that's the biggest thing.
Oh yeah, well said.
I was just gonna say it sucks that SMU's quarterback got hurt. last week because I was ready to see that offense versus the Tulane defense because that offense can put up some points. So
Yeah,
that kind of sucks. But with that happening, it sucks. But I mean, at the end, it is good for Tulane, I guess. But you never want to see that happen, right?
right. I
Yeah.
mean, their backup got in a couple games. Um, showed that he can handle the pressure of playing in the game. And it's a championship game. They're gonna
Like
dial
defense though.
things down for him. So I feel like the biggest thing for Tulane to do is rattle him early. He's a freshman. It's a lot weighing on him. This is SMU's last game officially in the American. And it happens to be a championship game. So, he's been hearing everything all week. He's gonna come in, he's gonna be nervous. He's a freshman, playing quarterback and playing against a defense that's, probably one of the top in the league. But he also, may come out there and play with confidence. There's been situations in my career where, we knock out the first string quarterback, we knock out the second string quarterback, and the third string quarterback comes in and is better than both of them. And we lose the game. But I mean, I just feel like that's why one of the things you can't really take your opponent lightly. So I feel like the guys are going to do a great job of, not saying that, oh, SMU starters out, this is going to be a breeze, but really just getting there, dialing in, and knowing that this team made it to the championship, and their defense is pretty good as well. We have a great offense, but in the case that our offense isn't as prolific as they, would like to be on Saturday, we got to handle our business as a defense, because playing good defensive football is what got us to the championship from the week before. So I feel like as long as the defense really takes care of business, then that saying will be true. The defense will win the championship.
Well
Oh,
said.
yeah.
Well said.
So let me hear some score predictions from you guys.
I already
Put
got
on the
mine.
spot. Oh, go for it.
Go for it.
31-17 Tulane.
Okay. What
Yes,
about you,
sir.
Pat?
I'm gonna just throw out numbers. Let's go big. Let's go 28-10 Tulane.
I was
Dave?
gonna say 27-17 Tulane.
Okay. Pressure on me now, huh? I'm gonna say 35 13 Tulane. 35-13 Tulane. Final score.
There you
Crowd
go.
rushes once again in Yeoman. And I'm definitely I might go in the stands during the fourth quarter just so I can rush the field.
Just I hope
Simply
a
because
security guard tackles you. You're the only person they single out.
Simply because last year, I got to see it from my point of view being a player. So I want to see it from a fan's point of view, because I may never get to rush the field ever in life. So I might as well, get up there and jump down from the stands as well. But no, it's definitely going to be something to see come Saturday. The one thing, I just hope that the weather is pretty clear so it can be an amazing crowd. But definitely looking forward to Tulane getting in there and handling business, and getting another conference championship, because those things are not easy to have. So to be back to back and do it in your own backyard, I'm very excited for those guys, most definitely.
For sure.
Hell yeah.
But diving into our next segment of the night, once again we have our Talking That Yeah college football picks of the week. But this week is different because, like we just said, it's conference championship week. So y'all know how this thing go. We're gonna dive into it first with Miami, Ohio versus Toledo.
I don't know nothing about either one of these teams except
Oh, there you go.
I'm also a Miami Hurricane fan, and we played Miami of Ohio, and they weren't terrible. So I'm gonna pick Miami of Ohio.
I got
Like
That's
Jim-
my analysis right there.
I got to see Miami, Ohio play. I want to say Kent State, and they play pretty good defensive ball. I haven't seen Toledo play, but based off seeing Miami, Ohio play, I'm gonna go with them for winning the conference championship.
There you go. Larry, you want to go? I'll bring it home.
Yeah, I'll go, man. I think I'm just gonna go Toledo. No specific reason, just because. Oh, well, the reason because two people already picked Miami, Ohio, so I'm gonna go Toledo. So we got a little competition. You know what I'm saying?
I love it. I love it. I didn't really have a reason for this, but I'm gonna find one. I'm also gonna go Toledo for 2 reasons. I wanna split this board. And the second one, Lance Moore went to Toledo, right? I'm a Saints fan. Let's throw that out there.
There you
We're
go.
gonna
There
go
you
with it
go.
because of that.
Miami of Ohio's got Blaine Gabbert's brother as their quarterback. I know that
What
too.
is all right.
I don't know. I just throwing that out there.
All right, man. We're gonna see. We're gonna see.
Yeah.
Up next, we go into the Sun Belt, and we have App State versus Troy. And I think I'm gonna go off bat. I'm gonna go with Troy. App State pretty good, but they haven't had that dominance that they've been known to have this year. Troy won the conference last year, and so I see Troy repeating and winning the Sun Belt again.
Yeah, I agree. I'm going with Troy. I think just record wise, like they got a much better record as well. Like I haven't watched much of either of these teams this year. But I'm gonna go with the favorite.
Yeah. Generally, I wouldn't pick against App State, but they seem to really show up when they're playing like Michigan or some big team. So I'll pick Troy here too.
App State living off. I mean, App State's been a good team, but they're still living off that Michigan win from what are you saying, like 10 years ago? How long ago was it?
Listen, if you do word association with App State, that's the first thing that's going to come to mind is that block field goal.
No, was if I remember that.
Yeah, see, that happened so long ago. Nick was in diapers. Like we don't even.
I see that. I feel like every year, they end up having college football game day for some game. I feel like they just love the atmosphere up there, and they always play the highlights from when they upset Michigan, and it's like year by year, the highlights just look older and older and older. But no hate to App State. I watched Coastal Carolina beat them. Watched my dog Carlos get a win up there. But I gotta go with Troy. I just feel like Troy playing good ball over there in Alabama, and I feel like they're gonna win the Sun Belt again on Saturday.
There you go.
I'm gonna go with Troy too, man. No. Once again, I haven't watched any of these teams play this year, but I'm gonna go with Troy. Seems like they're the favorite.
People are gonna be like, "What is this analysis? They just picking teams to pick up."
I guess. I mean,
That's all good. Bet we're right though. Come check us after.
Up next, we have New Mexico State versus number 24 Liberty. I'm going with New Mexico State getting the upset. I just feel like they're gonna play with a big chip on their shoulder. They beat Auburn. That really sold me. I mean, I'm taking the underdogs, and I'm going with New Mexico State for the upset.
I'm going Liberty.
Yeah. Man, Liberty's had a good year. Don't sleep on them. I've been having to pay attention to Liberty just because of all the nonsense with people worrying about other teams in the group of five and any team that can edge out Tulane. Liberty's had a solid year. They haven't played a lot of good teams. Like their schedule's been kind of weak, but give me them. If they lose, it is what it is.
I'm gonna go Liberty, man. I know Nick said New Mexico beat Auburn, but I don't think Auburn's pretty good this year. So I'm gonna go Liberty.
It's okay, man. I never had a problem standing on business and standing alone.
There you go.
No problem rocking with this State. Up next, we're going to the Mountain West, and we have Boise State playing UNLV. And strictly off record, I'm going UNLV. Simply because their record's better. I just got to do it. Boise, they lost to UCF. They lost a lot of close games in the beginning of the year. I don't feel like there's that dominance that they usually have in that conference. So I'm going with UNLV winning the Mountain West this year.
Yeah, same. I was gonna go Boise, and then I looked up who was like the records and where it was being played. If it was on the blue field, I was going Boise. But yeah, we're going UNLV.
Being a Vegas Golden Knights fan, I've started to interact with a lot of like Vegas people on Twitter, and they've all been going crazy over this UNLV season. So I kind of just want to see them get another win. So I'm pulling for UNLV for them.
You just want to bring up that you're a Golden Knights fan everywhere you go. I feel like no matter what the conversation, you just work this thing in. Do y'all watch hockey at all?
No. I watch the highlights.
You should. It's fun. What if I just said I'll interact with a bunch of people from Vegas on Twitter? I mean, I'm trying to give a little backstory there. I have no reason to interact with people from Vegas.
It's all good.
It's 3-0 right now. I'm gonna go Boise, man. I'm gonna stand alone
Do
on this one.
There you go.
Just because as a child, I always watched Boise State. In the blue field, I always dreamed to play on the blue field.
Yeah.
We played on the blue field. It's crazy. We didn't win on the
So-
blue field, but we played on the blue field.
Is it hard on the eyes? That's what I want to know. Like you run around on blue turf. Is it messing with you?
No, I mean, I would say the harder thing was the snow. It started snowing at halftime. I didn't wear an undershirt because I just never been an undershirt type of guy under my pads. It was pretty cold, and Nevada was in I formation running power. Yeah.
That was my first thought when you said it. I was like, man,
We was it was time to get back to New Orleans after that game. It's just they wanted it more than we did, and they showed it for sure.
Yeah.
ugh.
Yeah.
Now it's time to get into some more funner matchups. Number 5 Oregon versus number 3 Washington in the Pac-12 championship. Who you got? Matter of fact, Larry, we can go with you first since you're throwing up the old man.
Do I gotta say anything else? No, but I just think it's hard to beat a team twice in 1 year. And it was a close game. I feel like Oregon should have won the game. The coach he was aggressive and at the end of the game, and it kind of cost him at the end of the game. So I think this time they're gonna get him. They're gonna be Washington.
Love it. I believe in Michael Penix, and I'm going with Washington. I'm gonna stand with Washington. You're right. It is hard to beat a team twice, but y'all did it last year, right? So I mean, it is what it is. Am I right? Am I wrong about
We didn't beat UC up the first time.
We didn't beat
that?
them
Oh,
the
see,
first time.
put my foot in my mouth. It's all right. Maybe I just assumed. It just felt like you should have.
And again, Chris Hampton is over on Oregon side. Our DC from last year, he's on Oregon side. So I just know.
I got love for Chris Hampton, and I got love for Dan Lanning. Dan Lanning recruited me, when he was at Memphis and he was the linebacker coach. He's a great guy. When I got picked up by the Saints, he shot me a text and said, "Go kill him, Nick." But it's always been another Nick that I've been inspired by, and he goes by the name of Nick Saban at Alabama, and I really want him to really get in the playoffs. So I'm going with Washington Huskies, despite all the hoopla with Troy Dannon and all this other stuff. I'm going with the Huskies to win the Pac-12 championship, only because I want Alabama to be in the playoffs.
See,
I like that.
I'm pulling for the complete chaos scenario this weekend. And so I'm going with Oregon because Oregon's one loss is Washington. So you get both teams with one loss. I want that chaos. Also, Bo Nix is like 29 years old. He's got to get into the playoffs and get him a chance at this.
Hey, Bo Nix turned around his career, man. He looking good.
Don't hate the Bo Nix. He's a good player.
Up next, we have the Big 12. You got the showdown in Jerry's world between number 18, Oklahoma State, and number 7, Texas. And I feel like Texas is going to handle business, even though I would love Oklahoma State to beat them so Alabama can get in. I'm going to go with Texas handling business once again and beating Oklahoma State.
How many teams have to lose for Alabama to get in?
A couple. Hey, I'm rooting for it, man.
Look, let's touch on that after this because we can lay out the chaos scenario that might get Alabama in.
I'm here for it. It's fine. Yeah, I'm taking Texas. I love Coach Gundy, but I mean, yeah, I'm taking Texas.
Yeah, I like Texas too.
3 Texas. I'm gonna go Oklahoma State. Let's go.
Wow.
I'm gonna go Oklahoma State, even though I'm from Texas, but Oklahoma State running back is from Fort Worth, Texas, my home town. He's been going off these last few weeks, so I'm gonna go with him. I'm gonna go rock out with Oklahoma State.
That's very surprising. It's very surprising. But now we got to go to the powerhouse, of college football, or should they say the conference, with number 1 Georgia playing number 8 Alabama in Atlanta. And I just gotta go with y'all already know who I'm going with. I'm not even gonna talk about it. Y'all already know.
Nick,
You can
I'm
say it. You don't say it.
he don't need to. He said it about 5 times already.
Already.
Okay.
What they say, you know how the emphasis that they put when he said, "I'm going Andre Iguodala." I'm going Nick Saban. I'm going Nick Saban because it's just I could just see the determination in his eyes walking into the locker room after they beat Auburn. He wasn't cheering. He wasn't happy. He was like, "Okay, Kirby's next." I could just see it in his face. Like, listening last year when Georgia played, TCU, and Nick Saban was coming on the game and everybody was talking about how Alabama, their dynasty is done. I just feel like, they just got a big chip on their shoulder, especially, having the hoopla at the beginning of the season with them losing to Texas and having a close game against South Florida. I just feel like the chip on their shoulder is just heavy and is weighing down on them. And despite me being from Mississippi, I loved Alabama growing up. So I'm going to ride with Nick Saban beating the Georgia Bulldogs this weekend.
There you
I
go.
like
I
it.
told you I'm pulling for chaos. I'm going Bama too.
Yes, sir.
You want to go? You want me to go?
I'll go. I'm gonna go Alabama. I've been saying this all year. Alabama is better than what people think they are.
All right.
Why
So
y'all did this to me?
I'm gonna go with Alabama. I really don't. This is not a compared to the Georgia teams. This is not a great Georgia team. You say the same thing about Alabama too, though. But Jalen Milroe, I just think if he just gets to I don't know, they say he can't throw the ball or whatever, but he gets to run the ball. I mean, I don't know too many guys that just want to go tackle a guy his size every time. But so I'm gonna go with him. I'm gonna go with him and having a big time game in Alabama getting the dub.
I hate that y'all did this to me because I was gonna go Bama, but I feel like all four of us going Bama. Like that's a wash. Like I don't like it. But
Hey,
I
you can hop on the train, man.
I'm gonna.
You
I'm gonna
don't
be
have
honest.
to. You don't have to make this decision to not go with us because I don't want you to get left behind. You can get on this train. You can get on this bandwagon.
What side of history you want to be on?
Like,
I want
This is
chaos,
being
to be honest. I am always here for chaos, first and foremost. That's why I wanted to go Alabama. Second of all, I do think I think Jalen Milroe specifically, when you said it, you saw my eyes perk up. Like I was gonna bring that up. I think Jalen Milroe has looked 10 times better over the last couple games. I mean, he is gradually grown as a quarterback. He was already a good runner. He looks good. So I'm definitely taking Bama. Georgia's been a solid team, but I don't want to be bored. I want to have fun. Let's get crazy.
Yeah.
most definitely, let's do it, man. Hey, I'm glad you guys see the light. I'm glad. I'm glad. Now we're going to, a not so fun matchup. Number 2 Michigan versus number 16 Iowa. I'm going with the Wolverines. I just saw the intensity they played with last week when they played Ohio State. I just feel like, they got a lot to prove, especially with the Jim Harbaugh scenarios and him coming back for his first game coaching. I feel like it's not going to be close, and, I'm going Michigan in this matchup.
Yes.
Yeah.
Iowa plays Iowa. I mentioned gritty earlier. Iowa plays a very, very, very ugly, gritty, defensive brand of football, which can be fun to watch. But I don't think Michigan is going to have much of a problem there.
Hey, I said
Yeah,
it.
I'm with you.
In our last matchup of the championship weekend, and our last talking that pick is number 14 Louisville versus number 4 Florida State. And before I make my pick, I just want to say I got love for Florida State, and I got a trainer that's dear to my heart. Her name is Alyssa. She used to be at Tulane.
Big blow.
I have 2 of my boys down there. Jarian Jones, he's number 7. He plays cornerback. Fabian Lovett, he's A dog in the middle, number 0, plays nose tackle. Florida State's been the talk of college football this year. They've been balling, and I don't see why they can't, go out there and beat Louisville despite everything that's been going on. But I think Louisville's gonna win. And I'm rocking out with Louisville Cardinals this weekend.
All right. Man. Florida, fill me in. Florida State just lost their starting quarterback, right? Like that's the big,
Right.
that's the big fuss.
Yes.
Right.
Yeah.
I don't know. I think I'm going to stand on. They've had a phenomenal season. I think it's tough because like you hear that the college football committee is going to want to keep them out, right? Because they have their backup quarterback and all that. Give me the dub. Let's see what happens.
They can't keep them out. Ohio State set the precedent that you can go in with your backup quarterback and win. But I'm riding with the Cardinals too. I refuse to pick Florida State.
May I?
I'm a Miami fan. I can't pick Florida State.
Understandable.
I'm gonna go Florida State, man. I don't know what's the receiver name.
Keon Coleman.
Yeah, I mean, backup quarterback just gotta throw it in the area over there somewhere. He'll make a play, and I don't know. I mean, it's tough because the starting quarterback's down, and I haven't watched a lot of Louisville this year, but I'm assuming they're pretty good. They made it to the conference championship.
They were doing good. They got a big loss last week versus Kentucky, but I mean, it was a rivalry week. Anything kind of happened during rivalry week, so I feel like they're gonna come back.
Their other loss is like a weird loss to Pitt. Like it didn't really make any sense. Lose to Pitt, but yeah.
I think I'm just gonna go Florida State, man. Florida State.
So there you have it, man. We just did the Talking That Yeah picks of the week. We'll be back on episode 6 to talk about who won the picks of the week, man. And hopefully, it's gonna be your boy winning all the picks of the week. But hey, man, we just have fun with that. So without further ado, we're moving into our last segment of the night. And y'all know what's coming, man. We have the motivation of the week. And up first, we have embrace your journey, even the detours. And this was a quote that I picked. I feel like, it's very relevant to my life, but can be relevant to anybody's life. Rome wasn't built in a day. And I feel like that's a quote that everybody hears. And really just, it goes in one ear, goes out the other ear, but that's really true to your life. You got to embrace every journey, no matter you're down in the valley or at top of the mountain, always take the views, always soak in whatever's going on. It's not always according to plan, but everything works out exactly how it's supposed to be. But as long as you enjoying life, making the most of it, keeping a positive mindset each and every day, then the journey is going to be worthwhile. At the end of it, you can say, I live life with no regrets. I live life taking advantage of every situation. And like the quote says, sometimes your path may be a little bit different, but don't just take that and think it's the end of the world. Everything always works out in the end. So that's my quote.
I love that. It's beautiful. It's elegant. Oh, this is me. Before I get into this, I do love that. I actually have and I probably should have used this. I have a reminder on my phone every single day. I set it when I was 22 or whatever, and because I have an iPhone, it just kept with every phone I have. But basically every day around like 2:00, I get a reminder that says, you can boo me at the end of the second quarter. I'll talk to you at the end of the game. And it's kind of like not the same, like, but similar, right? Like life's a long journey. Like, let's not worry about what's happening right now. Let's just keep moving. Anyways, my actual quote: "Hope is not a strategy." I love this, man. This is something that has been ingrained in me for probably about 5 or 6 years now, and I mess with Dave about it all the time. This actually came up on our podcast. The reason I say this and I use this day in and day out is without a strategy, you can't really achieve anything that you're trying to get after, right? Like you can sit back and be like, I hope I lose weight. I hope I get in shape. I hope I make money or whatever it is. But without any real plan or without any real attack, you're not going to get there. You can't hope yourself into a good situation. So anytime something comes up in life, and my wife will tell you, I use this even with her. I use this with my daughter. Like if somebody's like, "Oh, I want something," I'm like, "Okay, how are we gonna get it?" Like I don't just sit there and be like, "Yeah, well, I hope it happens." It's always thinking forward and how we're gonna come up with a plan to get there. So it's just something near and dear to me.
Most definitely, man.
I
Appreciate
like that. I like that. All right, this is me. No, yeah. So the finish line is just a marker for where the next challenge begins. So me personally, I don't ever want to be at a standstill in life. I always want to keep going, keep growing, and keep getting better at whatever I'm doing. Or yeah, and then it just, I mean, like it says, just the next challenge. The next challenge begins. So there's always something going on. There's always something in life that's going to happen or whatever. You got to keep going and get through it.
most definitely, man. Most definitely.
So, then,
All right. Failure is simply the opportunity to begin again. This kind of goes along a little bit like what you were talking about, Nick. So I'm somebody that I don't really believe in having regrets, you know. I think there's a lesson in everything you do in life, whether you succeed or whether you fail in it. And honestly, I think there's more lessons in failure
Right.
than in succeeding. So I don't believe that anytime you fail at something, you should look at it as a setback. The rest of the quote actually says, failure is simply the opportunity to begin again, this time more intelligently. So, you learn from what you just went through, what caused you to fail, and you just attack it again from a different angle. And that's just something to live by, man. Just don't let any one setback, end whatever you're trying to go for. Like Patty said, have a strategy. If you if it don't work, take a step back, reevaluate, come up with a new one.
Most definitely, man. It's crazy that you say that, man. That really ties into something that I made a story about it on my Instagram story the other week. It was just saying that everybody has their own goals, everybody has their own ambitions, and a lot of times you allow other people's opinion to affect the way that you view your own goals, your own routes, your own things that you're trying to accomplish. When in reality, people may not see what you see. People may not see your vision. So that's why Will Smith said in Pursuit of Happiness, you got to dream, you got to protect it, you got to guard it. You got to keep even your family members at times. You got to keep them from influencing you that your dream won't come true because it's your dream. They're not gonna see it the way that you see it because they're not the ones putting in the work, putting in the dedication to trying to get to where you're trying to get to. Everybody's going to be at the end clapping, when you reach your dreams, but you got to depend on yourself. You got to depend on God. You got to really get in that fire and, have that determination to really fight for where you're trying to be because people not going to have that same drive that you got. But definitely appreciate y'all for sharing y'all motivational quotes, man. A lot of people have been saying that they really look forward to that every week and enjoy that. But that's gonna do it for episode 5 of Talking That Yeah with our boys from Who Effing Knows, my dog Dave and my dog Pat. Man, any last remarks before we end the show?
That's really it, man. I appreciate it. I always appreciate getting on a podcast and chopping it up. Thank you guys for having us. Everybody, if you don't already, go follow Be in the Know everywhere. You can follow us too, Who Effing Knows, but really everything runs through Be in the Know, theknow.com. So check us out. We're a grassroots group. Lucky to have Nick and Larry with us. So, appreciate you guys, obviously. Can't wait to see where you guys go with this, but I genuinely appreciate everything.
Well, definitely, man.
I
Appreciate
echo
y'all.
that.
thank you, man.
And appreciate everybody that tuned in. Wherever you watching this, no matter what time you watching this, just know that every time you click on, we're gonna always talk that yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah.